salmon move out from the river and into town. They avoid places with names like Foster's Freeze, A&W's, Smiley's, but swim close to the track homes on Wright Avenue, where sometimes in the early morning hours you can hear them trying doorknobs or bumping against cable TV line. We wait up for them. We leave our back windows open and call out when we hear a splash. Mornings are a disappointment. Raymond Carver.
First time in the fall of '9. See, that's when the humpies run on the off year. And on the Little River, they were so thick in there, the horse wouldn't go across. You had to walk on them. And they had to back the horse across. They had to back the horse across to get them to go. But you gotta stop to think. All the rivers were that way.
We were told, that the salmon was, belonged to us. It was given to us by our maker, and for us to, get along in. So it's part of our culture, and it's sad that we're, losing the salmon the way it's going, because that was our way of life.
To the whites and Indians alike, the salmon runs of the Pacific Northwest were legendary. The remembrance of the sounds of the returning pinks, the frenzied slapping and splashing of 200,000 silvery fish mating in the shallows of the Elwha River can make men cry. In Port Angeles, we are haunted by a restless and unreconciled history. As the American frontier moved west, the Olympic Peninsula was one of the final regions to be explored. On the Elwha and across the peninsula, from Hoko to Point No Point, the Clallam people had lived in a series of villages. During the 19th century, European diseases decimated the Clallam. Conquest of their lands dislocated the survivors. The 1890s found many Clallam living on the beaches of the new white settlement of Port Angeles, landless and poor. Disparities of opportunity and means separated whites and Indians.
When I was a kid, I used to come down here, 30, 31, 2, and gaff a couple of them big fish. Oh, big ones that long, great big ones, 50, 60 pounds. Yeah, I was just a kid, and boy, I'm telling you, you ought to get one. Man, but you didn't need very much. Took them home. What did we do with them? I mean, you didn't take a whole bunch. Two of them big fish you took, and well, mother could can some of them.
I have a little story to tell about my sister. She is 11 years younger than me. Her and her husband just got married, and it was during, the hard times because Indians can't really, find jobs here. And so they were, at home and there was nothing to eat. Their cupboards were bare. The two of them decided that they were going to go fishing. And so Bernice, went along with them, and they did catch a fish. They tied the twine, around the gills of the fish, and he told her to drag it across the field, not pick it up, but drag it across the field and get it home so they would have something to eat. In the meantime, they'll go up the river to see where the game warden was. So she said she walked across the field with that twine in her hand, dragging the fish, and she got it home and they cooked it and they had something to eat.
There's some people in Native American country who say that each Native American peoples have their mother watershed. And for us, that was the Elwha. She was our sustainer of life.
Seattle and Port Townsend were both ideal places for an ambitious young man to stake out a claim. Free land, timber, water, promise was everywhere. But these towns were not the frontier anymore. I wanted something newer. When I got off the George E. Star in Port Angeles that day in 1890, I saw Port Angeles was a wild frontier town. If I was looking for undeveloped country, I'd certainly found it. Saloons? Of course, 16 of them. A struggling small newspaper bravely advertising the new boom, and about 1,300 people. It took me only a few minutes to walk from one end of Port Angeles to the other. I turned from the muddy streets to the few frame houses and cabins, the stores, the saloon, and the opera house. Between 200 and 300 Indians were camping on the beach in front of the town. Most of them had large canoes. The Indians made their living principally by fishing.
Thomas Aldwell. Thomas Aldwell was an enterprising young banker from Ontario, Canada, who arrived in Port Angeles seeking his fortune. He would make his living principally by selling real estate,